There once was a small village by the sea, where the air always smelled of salt and the waves told stories to anyone willing to listen. In this village lived a fisherman. His boat was old, his clothes worn, and his hands calloused from years of casting nets and hauling in the ocean's bounty. Every morning, just as the sun peeked over the horizon, he'd set out into the calm waters, catch just enough fish for the day, and return home before noon. His afternoons were spent lounging in a hammock under a tree, sipping something cold, chatting with friends, laughing with his children, and sometimes even napping to the sound of the waves. He lived simply, but he lived well. One day a businessman came to the village. He was on vacation, escaping the noise of the city and the constant vibration of his phone. Dressed in polished shoes and a shirt that had never known the scent of the sea, he watched the fisherman return with his modest catch. Curious, he approached the man. "You catch all these fish so early in the day?" he asked. The fisherman smiled and nodded. "Yes, just enough for my family and a few neighbors. Then I spend the rest of the day enjoying life." The businessman looked puzzled. "Why don't you stay out longer? Catch more fish?" The fisherman shrugged. "And then what?" "Well," the businessman said, "with more fish you could sell more. With the extra money you could buy a bigger boat. With a bigger boat you could catch even more fish. Eventually you could buy several boats, hire other fishermen and run a whole fleet." The fisherman raised an eyebrow. "And then," the businessman continued, clearly excited, "you could open your own fish processing plant, export your product, make millions." "And after that?" the fisherman asked again, leaning back against his boat. The businessman grinned. "Then you could retire, move to a small village by the sea, sleep in, fish a little, spend time with your family, laugh with your friends and enjoy life." The fisherman smiled gently. "But sir, that's exactly what I'm doing now." Silence hung between them for a moment as the waves lapped against the shore. That short story, passed around in different forms for years, isn't just a charming tale, it's a quiet question whispered to everyone caught in the chase. In a world obsessed with more money, more growth, more progress, it's easy to forget that success isn't always about accumulation. Sometimes success is subtraction, less noise, less stress, less chasing. We are conditioned to believe that ambition is always forward-facing, that goals must be bigger, farther, higher. But what if success isn't always a climb? What if it's a circle? What if it's returning to something we already had, but this time with eyes wide open? The fisherman had no shareholders, no KPIs, no morning alarms, but he had time, he had presence, he had joy in moments that didn't need to be posted or proven, and most of all, he had. That word has become something of a lost language. We are told to hustle, to grind, to push. Rest becomes a reward instead of a right. But the fisherman's life reminds us that enough can be a destination, not a compromise. The businessman wasn't wrong in his logic. In fact, his thinking represents what much of society sees as smart: expand, invest, grow. There's nothing inherently wrong with ambition. Building something meaningful, solving big problems, creating wealth. It can be noble, fulfilling and necessary, but the problem begins when we don't know we're doing it, when we pursue a dream that isn't truly ours. There's a silent epidemic in modern culture. People climbing ladders only to realize they're leaning against the wrong wall. We chase someone else's version of success, hoping it will eventually feel right. But no matter how high we go, there's an emptiness if we've ignored our own values along the way. Imagine this: you work 80-hour weeks, build an empire, and finally reach the top. You buy the mansion, the car, the vacation home. But if you never had the time to watch your child grow, to take a slow walk with your partner, to sit under the stars with nothing but silence and peace, was it worth it? The fisherman didn't have much in his bank account, but he had time, presence and balance. The businessman had money, power and influence, but perhaps not peace. Who then was truly successful? We live in a time where comparison is constant. Social media floods our eyes with highlight reels of curated lifestyles. It's easy to feel behind, to feel like you're not doing enough, being enough, achieving enough. But the real question is, enough for who? If success for you means quiet mornings, meaningful work, laughter with loved ones, and a heart that feels full, then maybe you're already there. Or maybe you're just a few small changes away. True success isn't one size fits all. It doesn't always wear a suit or sit in a corner office. Sometimes it wears sandals, smells like salt water, and smiles with no agenda. The beauty of the fisherman's story is that he didn't need to escape life to enjoy it. He built a life he didn't need a vacation from. And that's a version of success that doesn't get celebrated enough. So pause, breathe. Ask yourself honestly, what does version of success look like? Maybe it's not louder, maybe it's quieter, maybe it's not faster, maybe it's slower, maybe it's not more, maybe it's simply enough. The sea doesn't care how expensive your boat is. The stars don't shine any brighter for billionaires, and time, our most valuable currency, passes the same for everyone. So be like the fisherman, know what matters, define success on your own terms, and don't be afraid to let the world chase what you've already found. Because sometimes, true success isn't about getting ahead, it's about coming home.